And welcome to part 13 of our Bounty Hunter Zero to Hero playthrough. I thought what we'll do today is start taking a look at some of the push trials. Now the reason I'm going to do that is that starting to meet some of the targets that are set for this character to be classed as a hero. So champion level 2100 I wanted, we're at 2118, so I've exceeded that. I want all the abilities to level 10. We've got 5 to go, so it's going to be about 6 more days before they're finished. Story, need to finish 5-star in that. I think there's about 100 levels to complete, so not too far to go on that. So what I'll do is run down the push gear that I've created for this character. And it's not a copy of the stat distribution if you was to look at the top of the leaderboard. The reason for that is that those players are going to be in full level 77 Celestials. If you're new to the class, as I am, you're going to have a very tough time staying alive unless you do what I've done. This is the way that I built my first mage as well. So you'll notice that I'm sacrificing power for vitality. It means that you get to practice without dying every time something hits you. And when you come to craft level 77 gear, usually in A and B events, you can always re-roll vitality off into power as and when you get them. So the build and enchantments, we've got crit rating, crit damage, haste, vitality, havoc could with the osmosis enchant, so every 2 seconds increase damage by 1%. Necklace we've seen quite a few times, power ability rate, haste, crit damage, enchanted with power. Demolitionist shoulder pads, crit rating, crit damage, vitality, haste. Reason we're going with Demolitionist. Explosive shot, chance to apply a stick bomb to a target, stacking 5 times. That bomb will explode after 15 seconds or when a target dies. Doing 3000% weapon damage per stack plus 0.5% of the dead target's life. So that actually scales quite nicely with level. As you get into higher levels, this becomes very useful at clearing mob phase very quickly. Havoc tunic, haste, vitality, crit rating, crit damage. I've got 2 crit ratings in here which I'll explain shortly, and vitality, enchanted, possibly life on hit might be better, but I'm going with vitality for now. Integralis, haste, crit rating, crit damage, vitality, enchant with crit rating. I didn't mention the enchantment back on the shoulders, crit damage on there, want as much crit damage as possible. Vial of the Wind Spirit, crit rating, crit damage, fire damage, haste. Exactly the same with the Talisman of Storms, crit rating, crit damage, fire damage, haste. Havoc gloves, crit rating, crit damage, haste, vitality and dodge rating on there. Our Heat Seekers, Bracer of Mastery, crit rating, crit damage, fire damage, haste. Molten Belt for push, explosive shot, deals damage to the target. It's affected by molten armour, increasing all damage taken by that target for 0.5% for 3 minutes and stacks infinitely. So it's basically working in tandem with osmosis and really multiplying the damage that you do. So brilliant for the longer fights that you get with the higher trials. Osmosis and Molten Belt, fantastic combo. Havoc pants, crit rating, crit damage, movement speed, haste with movement speed enchanted. Demolitionist boots, crit rating, crit damage, movement speed, haste, and again with movement speed on them. One perfect ring, crit rating, power, haste, crit damage with a bit of crit rating enchanted on there. And this was something that I made in the most recent AMB event, so it's a pretty decent ring given that it's not perfect. 281 haste, 251 crit rating, 207 vitality, 98.1 crit damage. That was 9 haste, 9 crit rating rings, and then 5 crit damage, 4 vitality, and they were socketed with trillion gemstones as I went through, so not losing too much on a perfect ring from there, so I'm quite pleased with how those have come out. Torch from the igniter set, crit rating, crit damage, power, haste, as we've had throughout. Slayer enchant added, so a chance to increase damage to elites and bosses by 100% for 5 seconds, 3 times a minute. And Firebug, crit rating, crit damage, haste and power, again with Slayer on it. On the abilities, push exactly the same as the EXP farm setup. Not really using lethal shot, it's just there because I would like to have explosive shot on right mouse button, and if I don't have anything in here but slot that into there, then I've got to use left mouse button to activate that, so it's the only reason lethal shot's in there, not going to use it at all. Then we've got our rapid fire at 10, our magnetic trap at 10, our heat seekers at 10, piercing ammo, pathfinder and tracer ammo. 3 healers being used. Champion levels, everything's assigned out, maxed out, so whenever we gain a champion level we're just increasing power. And the overall stats, we got through 4,000 power, so damage increased by 2,000%. Haste might be a little bit high, I'm not sure if there used to be a cap at 7 hits per second, so I'm not sure if doing 7.5 is actually doing 7.5. I haven't tested, so I may yet come back and tweak the build and remove some haste. Crit rating, that's the reason I added these topaz enchantments. I wanted to get that up to 50%. Which happens once you hit 3000 crit rating. Crit damage 1903, closer to 2000 would be better. Fire damage isn't too bad at 70%. Got quite a lot of life, but that's not far off what the top of the leaderboard would have, but they get theirs from Celestials. Armour at 80% less damage incoming. Regeneration, life on hit, both coming from champion levels only, and ability rate with the Integralis Mantle is about 30% cooldown, and movement speed up at 35. And as always, when you're doing push, you want to have all the food and drinks from the tavern, especially if you're on a crit build. If you're not on a crit build, you don't need the ginger beer, which is giving you crit rating. We've got the stew of the day for 10% life, and some coffee to run a bit faster. So what I'll do is pause the video, and then we shall run Trolls, hopefully 120 through to 125 consecutively. And welcome back. So 120 Kara. This is always a cave, which is not the best place when you've got grey enemies on a grey background. Basically what we want to do is round up a load, keep shooting at them to apply these sticky bombs, and hopefully they all get blown up in a big chain reaction. Not doing the best job of grouping them up, but we'll just go for the clear rather than for speed, I think. Since I'm not trying to unlock a million trolls, we're going to do all of the 120s. Work our way back round so we keep everyone interested and keep applying bombs to things. use mag trap that time. That was handy. Talisman of Storms came up, so that's enough to just move them out of the way with Vortex. So you can practice your dodging, and it's a bit more forgiving with all that vitality in there. But if you do make a mistake and get hit, you're not killed instantly. So that's 120 down. Most of the damage came from sticky bombs, which came off that mob phase. So let's jump into a Magroth fight. Just trying to remember what sort of map. Jungle. Oh no, these are randomised, aren't they? Probably poured more than I intended. Never mind. Play around with a nice big group. Send in the nukes. Might as well pull in some more rather than just standing there killing those. Let that group as well, you lot can come back. So Talisman of Storms is up. Slayer is now active up here. And we'll just keep working our way around, hitting them with bombs. Every time we see Talisman of Storms up, it's good to launch something strong at them. I'm not sure we've got enough enemies on the map to pull out Magroth. Oh, we have. Hit him whilst that Talisman of Storms was active. Got Slayer up now, so get him with some more damage. Slayer up again off the other weapon. Hold him back there, Slayer again, so blow him away. And Talisman of Storms. Let's take the Broken Dragon. Any map but a cave. If it's a cave, I'm coming straight out. Reason for that is static bosses probably spawn in some awful spot where you can't hit them. Especially once he's put his lava pools on the floor. Desert isn't that much better, to be honest, than a cave for this boss. But I've had a lot of practice with Broken Dragon now. It was one that I used to struggle with a lot. Wasting time, but nice just to clear the area completely. course, standing still like that isn't the wisest thing to do as a bounty hunter. You are very squishy. As long as there's no range attacks coming at you, then it's okay to stand still for a bit. So Talisman of Storms, and now we can fight the dragon. Ooh. Game controls being famously awful. Don't want to stand in lava. I still managed to walk into that. Come round here, thank you. That's not bad, under 2 minutes. So let's go face Elban at 1, 2, 3. So I could skip all of these, but I know some players that watch these videos have been struggling with the 120s, so hopefully it'll show that this build is very forgiving in this range. I do know how far I can take this one, but I'm going to save that. Or at least I know how far I've taken it in A and B, and it could have gone further, but I'm lazy, as we all know. Taking a bit of damage. Keep them as grouped up as possible. We got any elites still going down here? Yep. Can we make use of that Talisman of Storms? No, I was too slow. Never mind. We're close to getting Elban out. There he is. Zoom in a little bit. Make use of our Talisman of Storms. Moving back a bit as well, Slayer's up. Don't want to go too far that way, there's enemies still alive back there. And that's that one down. So the big lizard, Garm. Again, if this is a cave, we are walking straight out and launching a new map. Garm in the jungle's fine. I think while we've got these really fast things chasing us, I'll hold off on pulling too much. This is a rather small group really to be wasting time on. Not the best route back round, but it got away with it. Ooh. There we go with Slayer. Dodgy spits, that wasn't very good. I've pulled in enemies that I didn't want. We do have a bit of a situation going on here now. Oh, we've got through it, we're okay. Don't want to go in there, that's going to explode. Now we can do the fight properly. Terrible position to be standing, but we got through, so I'm not going to complain. So let's finish up with Kara in the desert, which 125 always is. More than enough. Not be silly and pull in too much. There are things that can hurt us at this level. Use of that talisman of storms while it was there. There's still things alive down here, okay. Very handy. Ooh. And we see those sticky bombs doing their job quite nicely there. That's definitely enough to finish. We don't really want to be getting ourselves boxed in like that though, do we? Oh. To use the big skills when our talisman was active. So that's us through to 125, so I think next time out we'll do 126 through to 130. But any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below, and as always, thank you very much for watching.